Hello traders, this is Alex with the cotlive.com website. I've had a few responses on how to use this new program that I'm showing you on the planetary alignments using the square of 9 as the price and the moons as the time. We're going to just plot real quickly here the S&P, the Emini-S&P to be precise. And this is the data we're going to derive from. Again, we're starting from the solar eclipse, which is October 25th. And I think we'll just keep this range the same. First thing we want to do is create a copy, and we'll put it before the last one I've done. And then you kind of, again, it's a spreadsheet. H23 we'll call it. That's the Emini-S&P. And then we go up here and change it as well. And you can do the spot chart too, which is probably more obvious. But for this example, we're just going to use the March contract. And it closed on the solar at 39.02. And here's 39.06. So I'm going to put the close below that number, right? Because since it didn't go above it. And then we got to, then the next zone, we go from October 25th to November 1st. So this is the 26th here. And we'll go out to the 1st. So this is the range, right, that we're plotting right here. This range right here. So you come in, and the low of that range was 3788. Now 3782.5 is below, so we plot it here. Now this is the first range, so I just usually just plot X's if I know the trend is up, which I do. And the high was 39.59, and it closed at 38.98. And again, I always, if it's got an X or the trend is up, I plot it below. Now, if it's a 0 or a trend is down, I plot it, up right on the close. So basically, it closed on the solar eclipse on my chart. The next range will be November 1st to November 8th. And it's so it's this range right here, November 2nd to here. So the high was on the first day, 39.39, and the low was 37.35. Now again, I don't normally plot it this way, but just to have you show, I don't have the trend go down until it has two boxes cleared. So 37.35, now the trend is down, and the close was 38.67. Since the trend is down, right, I don't go below, I go above whatever number it is. Now, if it's exact, you just plot it right on it, right? You can see, though, that the high of the day was back to this solar eclipse on, not the high of the back rally, so that's interesting. The next zone is November 16th. So we go from November 8th to November 16th. And so the 9th will be this low right here. $37.81. Again, the trend is down. And the high was $40.83. So we had a little spin down there, and a pivot, I guess you call it, and it closed it on the 18th, oops, on the 16th, sorry, at 40.01. So this is the new period, right, from the 16th or the 17th to the 23rd. This is the 23rd, so it's this range right here. And the low was put in on the first day after the lunar eclipse, or the quarter moon, 3/4 moon officially. 39.45. Trend is up. 40.73. We have an inside range. It closed at 40.67. So the next range is from November 23rd to November 30th. And that's a big range day on the moon period, right? Let me see, the 21st, no. So this is the low right here, 39.74. Sorry it's taking a little bit, but again, I want to show you a real example of how to use this program. 41.27, now 28, so it didn't get up that high. The close was 41.15, so it closed on the high side of this range. The next period over is December 8th. So the high was on December 1st, 41.42. Made a new high. And the low was the day before the end of the moon period, 39.45. So it did go down. Now again, I wouldn't be too concerned about the trend change until it probably took out this area, right? This inside period. Officially, the system, the program, is going to show the trend down, and I'm going to plot it as such. I mean, maybe a warning sign, right? The close was 39.37. The low was 39.45, yeah. Closed at 39.97. 39.97. Now again, the trend is down, so the close, if it was up, would go here, but since it's down, it goes here. Again, you can do whatever you want, but this is how I do it from my experience over time of doing this. So this is the range, December 13th. It was a 3-4 day smash to December 16th. 41.80. Oops. So it made another new high, getting a little squirrely. $38.55. And it closed at 38.79. And again, we have an outside event, an outside moon period back down. So again, it's acting a little toppy now, finally. You know, you didn't really know here yet, right? Until this period dropped. I'd be concerned if I was heavily long. The next period over is the 23rd. And that's right here. So let me see. The 16th is right here. So this is basically the range is 1 day. Pretty much the high and the low for the moon period. 39.13 or 19. 37.80, 37.88, and it closed at 38.69. Kind of back to, it looks a little like a low, right? But again, it still closed lower for the moon period. And again, if you're trading close stops and not the swings, right here would be where it takes to change the trend. And again, you can see that this is the solar eclipse close, right? So it went back to it, and this blue line here shows that as well. The next period over is December 30th. That's the 23rd. So this is the high for the range right here. 39.05. It didn't quite reach there, right? So you don't go up there. The low was the next day at 38.04. It closed at 38.61. Kind of closed at the same moon period. Oh, sorry. Well, I just screwed that up. Sorry. Hit the wrong button. December 30th. So January 3rd, the beginning of the year, was the low. 38.14. And again, I stay above that because it didn't go below this 38.13. And the high was the moon period, the full moon, 39.28. Didn't quite get up there, 39.15. The next period over is the 15th. And again, that fell on the weekend. So January 6th. So the 6th was that low. So this is the low for the range, 38.91. And the high was the last day of the period or the quarter moon, 40.24. 40.18 close. The next period over is the 21st, which again fell over the weekend, so I just used Friday. So the high was on the 17th at 40.35 and change. Again, the low was back on that solar eclipse close, 39.01. Again, it did not take out the low, 39.88 close. The next period over is the 28th, which is a quarter moon. Oops. And again, that fell over the weekend. So this is the low for the period. It was only a 3-day period in this moon period, a holiday weekend. 39.63, 41.09, and it closed at 40.84. The next period, we're getting close to the current here. February 5th. Today is actually the 22nd. Just so you know. February 5th is the zone. And again, that fell over the weekend. So this is the low for the period. 40.07. $42.08 high. Now 42.08.90. It got to 42.850. So I don't plot it up above that, right? Because it didn't get to it yet. 41.47 was the close. Next period's February 13th. That happened to be a Monday that we were trading. So let me see. February 5th. So this was the high up here, 41.88. And this was the low for the period, 40.60. This was the close, 41.47. Next period is February 20th. And that fell over the holiday that we just had, President's Day. So we stop at the period before. 13th. So this is the high, 41.86. Again, once you chart it, this is kind of like manually charting like you used to do with paper. I mean, I know it's a spreadsheet, but you kind of get the feel for the market a little bit. You can see that we've kind of had a little range bound trade here, 40.87. Now this is into the current. This is the 22nd, and this is today's trade. So far it's about 9 in the morning. So again, that was the 20th. This is the new range, so we plot the high until taken out, 40.89. And the low was today so far, 39.95. And I usually put a couple things there that I know that it's still live and current. So that's kind of how we look at it. Let me shrink this down a little bit. Let me go one more. So this is the range that we've had. Typically, if you start tumultuously, you end tumultuously, right? For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. And you can see that the actual low was made on the lunar eclipse. So I would be, and again, this yellow box here is the halfway from the solar, but again, this is halfway or 90 degrees, right, on your wheel of Gann, February 5th, and we did make a high on February 5th. So again, it did do its thing. Gann did a lot of his projections based on the 90 degrees, right, from the low or the solar or a planetary alignment. You know, Saturn, Jupiter, you know, that he looked at. So that's how you kind of plot it. I wanted to kind of show you in in a real life kind of format how I do it. You can also kind of visual, right? Here's the planetary alignments. This void is kind of interesting to me, right? We had another void here. This void kind of caused some, again, my belief is that when there's no resistance, right, when there's no planetary activity, then the market usually doesn't, it's kind of range bound typically, or it has a free flow. And you can also see that these are all the angles, right? The 45, the 90, the 135, and the 180 is what I plot from all these planetary alignments out in the future. And I don't do Mercury or Venus because they're too fast, but these are all pretty much all the angles of the outer planets and the geocentric, earthbound. The helo is sun-centered. So that's kind of how I do it. And this is a real life example, current up to date. So the trend did get violated this moon period, right? And you can draw a trend line on there if you want, right? From your Excel spreadsheet. I know it's a little hassle, but it's, you can do it. Here's the 1-to-1 trend line. Oops. You can draw a 1-to-1 trend line, and that's important, right? That's your average of speed. And you can see that it kind of is telling you that, that's, it's hit it a couple times already. And of course, you can draw them on the way down. I mean, you can actually draw the actual trend line. And again, trend lines are meant to be broken. Now, if you're always a bull, you're looking for periods of breaks. If you're always a bear, you're looking for these erratic activity tops, especially in the S&P. I mean, some are different, right? S&P margins go down on the way up, opposite of other futures. Similar to cattle, kind of the same thing, right? The margins go down on the way up and volatility increases on the way down. So your breaks are more fast and furious, and you have to understand how the history of the market is, and that's how the history of the S&P is. It's a little slower going up and extremely fast on the way down. As long as you understand that, that's why stops are crucial. Or again, we knew this period in this 90-degree period, right? This one right here, that's your 90 degrees from the low, and the lunar eclipse was coming in, right? And if you don't want to get out, right, you can buy weekly puts, right? Or monthly puts in the S&P or something, right, to protect yourself. You can sell calls against your long positions, whatever, right? It just gives you, or get out and wait for the break to occur again. If it doesn't and it makes new highs, then you might have to get in or wait for some type of smaller break to get back in. I don't want to get into how you want to trade, right? Because everybody has a different flavor. But you can tell that this, if you'd have waited for the trend break here, you would have been a buyer right about in here, right? And you wouldn't have got out till here. I mean, I know that's long term. If you do that over time, your likelihood of making a positive gain are quite good. Over long term, takes a little money to trade that way, right? It's not day trading. Now, if you're a day trader, right, you don't start buying your breaks on your day trades or your short-term, hourly, minute, intraday charts until you get a longer-term buy signal, and then you start buying it. Now, if you're a bear, of course, and you're a day trader, you'd wait for it to break here. So it had been substantial time, and if you're anxious, you'd find another market to trade. But that's how you can use this to your advantage on your trading platforms that you have out there. Again, I don't know if this is a trading platform per se, but it's more of a trend deal to show you direction. Something definitely happened here to cause it to break. And, this is what I call a bull trap, right? We went up and took out the highs on the timing, right? So now I would have been pretty much interested in this break, a secondary low. We knew 90 degrees was right here. So I would have been excited about that break. So anyway, I won't keep you. I just wanted to show you a real life update. I've also done a video here last week on kind of several markets, but this one actually goes through and shows you how to plot it for the people that have paid for the program and for people interested in it. So, all right, I'll let you go. Thank you and have a great trading the rest of the week.